Wayne.
I'm Luke.
And welcome to the first installment of Barely Getting By. First, before we get into it too deep, we want to do a special shout out to our sponsor, Mimi, for these beautiful bear mugs here. As you can see, we paid homage in the name of our little segment, and they'll be coming back in any future segments of Barely Getting By.
Thank you, Mimi.
Thanks, Mimi. So, we wanted to start a segment. You guys have probably gathered that it's not the typical outdoor channel, but we thought these segments might be a good way to get to know us, get any life updates from us, and we can use it to answer any questions y'all end up sending in to us. So who are we?
We are second-year medical students and
Full-time?
Amateur outdoor sportsmen.
Can confirm. You wouldn't know it, but me and Luke, we met at the beginning of medical school.
I remember every detail.
Go ahead, take it away, buddy.
You remember that group chat that got started before we started?
Indeed.
In the summer?
Mm-hmm.
You started a branch of that group chat.
Yes.
The fishing group chat, and I took one look at that and I said, we hadn't even met yet. I just saw your picture and I said, yeah, we're going to be buddies.
Yeah. And the rest is history. Turns out.
We met really early on, before classes even started.
Mm-hmm.
It was at the whole of our med school class we were getting together every night, playing volleyball and
going out, getting drinks, whatnot,
getting to know each other before classes started. We met a couple weeks before classes started and hit it off right away. Had a ton of stuff in common, and we've been just great friends ever since.
Yeah. Y'all have seen the fishing so far, and Luke had mentioned the chat, but we've gotten into a whole lot of other stuff together. We both love camping, so we've been on a number of trips so far. That's been a great time.
We need to schedule another one of those once it gets a little warmer.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we've been chomping at the bit to get back out there. And I know, Luke, you were saying that you got a hiking solo backpacking.
Yeah, so I've never been solo backpacking before, and I kind of want to get into that. So I think this week I'm going to try to just do one night. I found a 13-mile trail just to do in one night, just to see how the equipment works and kind of gauge safety that way with an ultimate goal. I really want to make my way to Mark Twain National Forest this summer to solo that, but more to come from that.
Yeah, and besides hunting, camping, hunting, yeah.
Hunting.
We've gotten out. I kind of got into it towards the end of high school, and I've always loved deer hunting, but coming down here, we branched out into some pheasant this year.
Oh, pheasant was a lot of fun.
Some small game, stuff like that, so just all around, we just like to be outside, and that's us.
Yeah.
So
that sums things up pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah. So where did Dio Outdoors come from? So it was funny. Last year I was out fishing. I believe this was it was actually before an exam, and I was on the phone with my brother, and we were FaceTiming. I had my laptop open doing Anki. I was sitting on a lawn chair on a beach with my rod set up, and my little brother mentioned how it felt like he was watching a outdoor YouTube channel. I was like, well, put the thought in my mind, but you know how life goes, especially in medical school. Things got a little crazy, and nothing really came of it until I think it was this year. When was it this year?
January?
Sometime. Yeah, we started, I started talking about it again, and Luke loved the idea, so we were like, shoot, let's get something going here. Mm-hmm. And shortly after that, we started playing it a little bit, and we put out that first video. And not so long after that, some of you guys might have noticed the difference between the first video and the second video. Luke, our other buddy Joe, and my lady Allie, they really outdid themselves and got me a brand new GoPro for my birthday. So, after that...
It was a step that needed to be taken.
Oh, yeah. I mean, after that, it's like, well, we're locked in now. We're going to do this thing. And...
opened up a lot of opportunities.
For sure.
Yeah.
And here we are, just getting her done, having a lot of fun along the way.
But really the big message in starting this channel and bringing you guys along for it is to really show how we find balance in medical school. And I think that we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that was the big idea, I think.
For sure. I mean, it's a crazy time. They always talk about it. You need self-care this, self-care that, but it's really tough to actually do the work.
Yeah.
So,
like, what does that look like? What does that balance look like? And I think that that's something that we could accomplish with this channel and with uploading the videos of what we get up to and being just really honest and transparent about how we find that balance with medical school.
Yeah, I mean, y'all are watching how we find our balance right here. So, welcome along for the journey. We're glad to have you.
We are on spring break right now, full
disclosure.
This is true. There's a little bit extra time for filming right now.
Spring break did officially start today. So, that's where we're at right now. So how is med school going? I guess first year was a bit of a whirlwind.
First year was rough.
Yeah, because we had block scheduling. That meant nothing to me before I came to medical school either. But basically
finals 4 times a year.
Yeah, essentially quarters. But the way our school had it set up was we were having
exams
every other week.
Monday.
Yep, every other week, and all of our classes just are kind of lumped into this giant main core sciences class. So, I mean, that was quite the cycle of just on studying super hard, off studying super hard. Balance was hard to come by last year.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have a weekend of cramming for an exam, and then a weekend off
blowing off steam,
recover, and then another weekend of cramming. It's gotten much better in the second year, and I tell all the first years this. The first year's struggle. First year is hard, but it gets so much better second year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, content-wise, you're getting into the clinical stuff, so things you can actually see how they'd be applied, things like that. Whereas first year's a lot of just the core
biochemistry, histology, that kind of stuff.
Getting your footing so that you can later understand all these complex clinical concepts. But I mean,
now we're doing exams like every 3 to 5 weeks instead of every other Monday. So the exams are a little bigger content-wise, but it makes it so much easier to strike that balance.
Absolutely. I mean, you can actually have somewhat of a life, and I mean, that's a double-edged sword for sure, because you got to make sure that's med school in general is you're getting to have all that freedom to decide how you study, when you study, everything like that. And this year it's like each block, instead of having how many of our exams, we'll have one midterm and then the next exam's finals week.
Yeah.
So
there's a total of 3 exams per quarter.
Pretty much.
Instead of the 5 that we had last year.
Yeah, so it would be each quarter is a midterm, final, and then at the end of finals week is also cumulative.
That's the big one.
Yeah, but a lot of independence, but you gotta be able to handle that for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But
no homework for the most part. Just studying. So like, it's not like undergrad where you had problem sets to do or essays to write. Yeah, sometimes we have like little projects here and there to work on, but nothing like undergrad. So they definitely know that there's a lot of material that needs to be memorized. So and you're widely responsible for coming up with how you want to learn that material.
Yep.
So I mean, for me, I personally love going to class. I go to class in person every day. That's my time to socialize. I get to talk to the professors. Just being on campus and being in that environment, and I flourish in that.
Yeah, and I mean, me and Luke are pretty much polar opposite student types. Like he's on the Navy SEAL schedule, getting up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, sometimes you text me good night when I text you good morning.
Yeah, it's happened more than once. Whereas me, I'm a night owl. I'm not into the classroom thing. Can't really do it. I'm much more at my own pace. I like to review slides on this very couch, actually. There's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on this couch. I mean, coming into medical school and through medical school. Matter of fact, I think... Oh, yeah! This is actually one of the postcards our school sent us when I got accepted. And it made it through the move from home all the way down here. And I'm resolving to keep that note in my couch until I'm an actual doctor.
I still have my acceptance letter on my refrigerator.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a crazy time. I don't think people talk about how fast it goes. I think they do.
I feel like it was just yesterday that I met you and we're already like halfway done.
Mm-hmm.
So
time is a very, very weird thing in medical school. I mean,
days are long, weeks are short.
Weeks and years, I'd say. Yeah. Like at the end of last year, I remember everyone talking about how it's like it feels like we've been at this for a month, but at the same time like 3 years. So it's definitely an experience unlike anything else, and
time has been funny.
Very, very, very funny. But it's super important if you guys are watching this and you're just coming into medical school, you're trying to get into medical school. I definitely say you'll hear it a lot, but it's just something you got to experience. So
yeah, it hasn't been terrible. I mean, for me, frankly, medical school has been the happiest I've been in my life, you know, overall.
It's definitely an amazing experience. It sucks. The lows are low, not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But the highs are very high. You're finally done with a lot of the rigmarole. You're getting on to the thing that you actually wanted to do.
Do you remember at orientation when, I don't remember which professor it was at orientation who said, hey, open your eyes, take a look around, because this thing that you've been dreaming of your whole life just came true.
Yeah.
Which really resonated with me. For me, medical school has been a lifelong dream, and I get to live it out. And next year, we're gonna get to experience a whole new level of that dream as we go into clinical rotations.
Yep, that's an extremely exciting prospect. I mean, of course, right now we've got those pesky boards to worry about.
That's merely a formality.
Merely a formality, but yeah, no, I've been looking forward to clinicals since I started medical school. I've never been a giant classroom type. I mean,
we both had patient care experience before coming into medical school, and man, I really miss it. I worked in EMS back in undergrad, and it was just a phenomenal experience. I loved it. And every time I hear an ambulance go by, I hear sirens, and I'm like, I miss that.
I mean, you should have seen this guy the other night. We were down on the river in our last video, and he hears the local hospital helicopter going by. He's hearing sirens. He's on the police scanner trying to figure out where's that helicopter headed. So, I mean, yeah, before medical school, I was doing a lot of direct care. I started in memory care for the elderly population, and then I moved over to a more managerial role with group homes for the developmentally disabled. But I mean, I've always just loved the hands-on, personal connection. And,
well, that's why you go to medical school. That's why you become a doctor, is because you want to do the hands-on. You want to be with patients, and
so yeah, I mean, we're both looking forward to it. It's going to be super exciting. And I mean, the way that our school does it is that there's not actually a whole lot of rotation spots in town. A lot of people will be cycling out of state or around the state. So we are definitely blessed.
We were super blessed
To be in town, both of us at the same hospital.
Same hospital. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. We're gonna have so much fun next year.
Hopefully not too much tomfoolery, but
well, it's gonna be fun though.
It'll be a good time.
It's gonna be incredibly rewarding. We're gonna learn a ton. I could not be more grateful and thrilled for clinical rotations next year.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great time. But, I mean, I guess why are we doing this segment? I mean, you guys probably figured it out from our description, or our channel description, what we were. But generally, when we're outdoors, that's, like we said, our time to decompress and find that balance, get away from it all. So we don't really end up talking a whole lot about school out there. So we thought it'd be kind of fun to have this segment to talk about what's going on, what the process is like, and kind of show you guys what's what in the day-to-day.
Yeah, it's something that I've noticed in our classmates is our classmates are not nearly as joyful as we are in school.
Yeah. I mean, don't get us wrong. There's
right.
some rough days.
Right.
Very, very rough days.
But I think what it really comes down to is the balance. We hear so much about burnout. And I think that burnout, that word kind of started it started around about COVID time, didn't it?
Something like that.
And it's been going on longer than that.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
That's when I first started hearing about it. And I did not expect to see it until we got out into the wards.
Yeah.
But it was shocking to see it happening to our first and second year preclinical classmates. And I suppose it's different. It's a different kind of burnout. It's not the same caregiver burnout, but it's burnout nonetheless.
Absolutely. And it makes sense. I mean, like, just the hours, if you're in medical school, adjacent to medical school, you'll have heard the fire hose analogy. It's that and more. It's honestly like someone busted open a fire hydrant. But it makes sense, like, the whole process they're harping on. Resilience, this, that, and the other. Just like, how can you get through? And, I mean, you need every ounce of that you can get to make it through this thing. But, I mean, that's what we're doing here.
So, I have been able to find an incredible amount of joy in medical school, joy in what we're learning. I go to class every day and learn about something new that excites me. I joke that I'm going to have an impossible time deciding a specialty because I have loved everything that we've learned. We're getting into infectious disease right now. I've loved that. I think that infectious disease is so cool. But I really attribute my ability to find such joy in what we're learning and joy in medical school, and to be really able to love the process, because there's more going on in my life than just medical school. I'm more than just a medical student.
1,000%.
Yeah, I mean,
1,000%.
that's not the whole book right there.
And that's a key. You cannot, as much as it seems impossible, because it sometimes feels impossible to be anything but a medical student, but that's kind of the quandary you're faced with, is that to get through this, to do well, to preserve yourself through this whole thing, is that you can't just be a medical student.
Yeah. So, I mean, I found joy and balance in the outdoor activities, in my faith community.
Absolutely.
You know, really becoming a part of the community where we go to school.
Yep.
Not just walling myself off into medical school, but really experiencing the city and the people and the culture here, integrating myself
just into the greater community.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll echo that like wholeheartedly. Depending on who you ask, I might take it a little too far, but I prioritize being able to be sane and be relatively happy over schooling a lot of the time. And again, depends who you ask. I'm sure there's a lot of people that might watch this video and cringe at that, but my philosophy is that I'm here, and I mean,
you can't put your life on hold.
No,
you can't
can't
hit the pause button and say, all right, I'm going to do medical school and then I'll start living again after medical school, because that's not going to happen. Because after med school, there's residency, and then things are only going to get harder.
Absolutely.
You cannot stop being human just because you're busy with school and school is hard.
Yeah. Life keeps on coming, and you cannot allow yourself to fall victim to that. I mean, you stop living now, you're gonna have a real hard time starting again. So
a piece of advice that I really love to give to new students as they're coming in is you need to pick and choose what are the most important things to you.
Absolutely.
So it's like, what recharges you? What do you need to do to make sure that you continue feeling good and being healthy? And so like for some people, they got to be in the gym. They need their daily workout, and so they should prioritize that. You know, for others, you know, if getting a 4.0 in medical school, you know, being number one in the class is the most important thing to you, and you need that to feel fulfilled, you're going to pay for it. You know, you're going to be paying for it with the hours that you have to put into studying. And but for me personally, my top priorities have been my relationships with others. I'd say building friendships. I've made the best friends of my life here in medical school. And
oh, well, we had a little technical difficulty, but what were you saying?
well, I was just talking about how I have prioritized relationships with others as my most important thing. And so spending time with you, spending time with Joe, Thomas, that's what fills my bucket. That's what keeps me going. That's what allows me to keep feeling human in medical school. And I mean, like, we get to go and do fun stuff outside too. I mean, those are my most important things. But it really comes down to that, picking your priorities.
Absolutely.
You can't do it all.
No. And I mean, like Luke was saying, like, if 4.0 top of the class is what's going to do it for you, by all means. But I mean, we know plenty of people that are set that way, and I mean, you do pay for it physically, mentally, dare I say spiritually, but I mean, everyone has different priorities, and you just got to figure out what yours are. Like I was saying, I'm sure that some of the people that are set that way would have an aneurysm if they knew what my study schedule looked like. Obviously, like I said earlier, I heavily prioritize being human throughout medical school. That means getting in the things that make me me. I mean, I'm by no means am I saying that you should neglect your schoolwork, this, that, and the other, because I mean, you've worked really hard to get here. We all have.
No, you gotta pass. You need to be passing. You need to try in school. You need to be getting good grades.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, even if you're at the bottom of your medical school class at the end of it all, they're still going to call you doctor.
That's right.
So, I mean, I've studied microvasculature from a tree stand hunting deer. I mean, I've done Anki in a turkey blind before. Like I mean, I was saying before, I was fishing the day before finals last year. So, I mean, like, it's not, school is nothing. Obviously, this is one of the hardest undertakings either of us have done.
Yes.
But, like Luke was saying, it's like you got to stay human through it all. You can't just put life on pause. Life's going to keep going. You should keep living it.
So, I guess a good way to sum all that up is, like, you can be happy in medical school.
Yeah.
You absolutely can. It's not a miserable experience at all.
No, it's hard. By no means is it easy, but I mean, that's what we're here to show you. And
I think that's a wrap for today.
That's a wrap. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to our inaugural segment of Barely Getting By. And if y'all have any questions, comments, anything, leave them down in the comment section, and we'll address them on our next segment.
Stay tuned for more outdoor content coming up.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching, and take care.
All right. Bye-bye now.